My trophy wife started volunteering at a community center and I thought she was cheating. The truth made me question my entire life. I need some advice. I'm Travis, 45M, and I've been married to Olivia, 40F, for 5 years now. We met in an unexpected way. I was out for my usual morning run in Central Park when I literally bumped into her while she was walking her golden retriever, Max. It was like something out of a romantic comedy. She spilled her coffee all over my running shirt, and I offered to buy her a new one. We ended up talking for hours at a nearby cafe, and the rest, as they say, is history. I've always lived what you might call a high-flying lifestyle. I'm a successful investment banker, which means I travel all over the world, stay in the finest hotels, and dine at Michelin-starred restaurants. My philosophy has always been to live life to the fullest. Why settle for mediocrity when you can experience the best the world has to offer? When Olivia and I got married, we had a long discussion about our expectations. I made it clear that I wasn't looking for a typical domestic life. The idea of coming home every day to watch TV and do household chores seemed suffocating to me. I told her I wanted a partner who could keep up with my lifestyle, someone who was always ready for the next adventure. Olivia seemed to understand and even agreed that it sounded exciting. Looking back, I realize I should have paid more attention to Olivia's background. She grew up in a small town in the Midwest, the daughter of a factory worker and a school teacher. Money was always tight for her family, and she learned to be frugal from a young age. Before we met, she was working as a pediatric nurse, a job she loved but that didn't pay much. At first, Olivia seemed to adapt well to our lifestyle. She enjoyed our trips to exotic locations and seemed to relish the luxury. But lately, I've noticed some changes that worry me. When I call her from my business trips, she often tells me she spent the day doing mundane things like grocery shopping or watching Netflix. I try to encourage her to go out, to experience the city, but she seems content just staying at home. What's even more baffling to me is that she's started using coupons and looking for sales. I've told her countless times that we don't need to worry about money, but she insists on these small economies. It's embarrassing when we're out with friends and she pulls out a coupon at a restaurant. I suggested that Olivia quit her nursing job when we got married. I didn't see the point in her working long hours for little pay when I could provide for us both. She agreed, but recently she's mentioned missing her work. I can't understand why she'd want to go back to that stressful, underpaid job. To give you some context, my own upbringing was very different from Olivia's. I grew up in Manhattan, the son of a hedge fund manager and art gallery owner. From a young age, I was taught that success meant always striving for more. My parents pushed me to excel in school, in sports, in everything I did. When I got my first job on Wall Street, my father's only comment was, "Now, don't rest on your laurels." This drive to always do better, to experience more, has served me well in my career. I've risen quickly through the ranks and now manage some of our firm's biggest accounts. But I'm starting to worry that it's causing a rift between Olivia and me. Last week, Olivia told me she wanted to start volunteering at a local animal shelter. I couldn't understand why she'd want to spend her time doing unpaid work when she could be enjoying all that our lifestyle offers. When I expressed this, she got upset and said I didn't understand her. I'm starting to wonder if Olivia and I are just too different. I love her, but I'm finding it hard to relate to her desire for a simpler life. Am I being unreasonable in expecting her to fully embrace the lifestyle I can provide? Or is she being ungrateful for all that we have? To make matters more complicated, I recently found out that Olivia has been in contact with her ex-boyfriend, Jake, 41M. Apparently, they dated all through high school and college, and even talked about getting married at one point. They broke up when Jake got a job offer in another state and Olivia didn't want to leave her family. I only found out about this when I overheard Olivia on the phone, talking and laughing in a way I hadn't heard in a long time. When I asked her about it, she was initially evasive, but eventually admitted that she'd reconnected with Jake through Facebook. She assured me it was purely platonic, that Jake was married with kids now, but I can't help feeling uneasy about it. Am I overreacting to all of this? Is there a way for Olivia and I to bridge this growing gap between us? Or are we fundamentally incompatible? I love her, but I'm starting to wonder if love is enough when our values and desires seem so different. I'm not sure what to do next. Part of me thinks we should try couples counseling, but another part wonders if we're just prolonging the inevitable. I don't want to give up on our marriage, but I also don't want either of us to be unhappy or feel like we're compromising too much of ourselves. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. I feel like I'm at a crossroads and I'm not sure which way to turn. Update 1. It's been about a month since my original post, and a lot has happened. I want to thank everyone who took the time to respond and offer advice. It's given me a lot to think about. After reading your comments, I realized I needed to have a serious conversation with Olivia. I decided to take a week off work, something I haven't done in years unless we were on vacation, to focus on our relationship. I sat down with Olivia and really listened to her for the first time in a long while. What I heard shocked me. She told me she's been feeling lonely and unfulfilled for a long time. She misses her work as a nurse, the sense of purpose it gave her. She said that while she appreciates the luxuries our lifestyle affords, it doesn't bring her the same joy it brings me. Olivia also opened up about her friendship with Jake. She admitted that talking to him reminded her of the person she used to be, someone with goals and ambitions beyond being my wife. This hit me hard. I never intended to stifle her dreams. But the biggest revelation came when Olivia told me she's been volunteering at a local children's hospital. She's been doing this for months, telling me she was going to yoga classes or meeting friends. She said it made her feel alive again, using her nursing skills to help sick kids. I was initially hurt by her deception, but as she explained her reasons, I began to understand. She was afraid I would disapprove or try to talk her out of it. The fact that she felt she couldn't be honest with me about something so important to her made me realize how much damage my attitude has done to our relationship. We talked for hours, really opening up to each other in a way we haven't since we first started dating. Olivia shared her fears that she's lost herself in our marriage, that she's become someone she doesn't recognize. I shared my own insecurities, how my drive for success comes from a deep-seated fear of not being good enough. It was a difficult, emotional conversation, but it felt like a breakthrough. We've agreed to make some changes. I'm going to cut back on my work hours and try to be home more. We're going to volunteer at the children's hospital together once a week. And I've encouraged Olivia to look into part-time nursing positions if that's what she wants. As for Jake, Olivia has agreed to limit her contact with him out of respect for our marriage, but I've realized I need to trust her more. She's not the type of person to have an affair, emotional or otherwise. My jealousy was more about my own insecurities than anything she was doing. We've also decided to start seeing a couples counselor. I was resistant to the idea at first, but I now see that we need help to navigate these changes and rebuild our communication. It's early days, but I already feel like a weight has been lifted. I'm seeing Olivia in a new light, appreciating her compassion and dedication in a way I never did before. And I'm starting to question my own values and priorities. There's still a lot of work to do, but for the first time in a long while, I feel hopeful about our future together. I'll keep you updated on how things progress. Update 2. It's been 3 months since my last update, and I wanted to share how things have been going. The changes we implemented have had a profound impact on our relationship, but it hasn't all been smooth sailing. Olivia has started working part-time at the children's hospital, and seeing her passion for her work has been eye-opening. She comes home tired but fulfilled, often sharing stories about the children she's helped. It's made me realize how much of herself she had suppressed to fit into the life I thought we should have. As for me, cutting back on work hours was harder than I expected. I found myself constantly checking emails and taking calls during our supposed quality time. It led to a few heated arguments, but it also forced me to confront my workaholic tendencies. I've been working with our counselor on this, trying to understand why I feel such a strong need to always be on. Our weekly volunteering sessions together have been interesting. I'll admit, at first I felt out of place and useless. I'm used to being the expert in the room, and suddenly I was the one who didn't know what to do. But Olivia has been patient, teaching me how to interact with the kids and make them smile even on their toughest days. It's been humbling and, surprisingly, rewarding. However, not everything has improved. My reduced hours at work have led to some tension with my colleagues and a few missed opportunities. Part of me resents this, and I've caught myself blaming Olivia in my darker moments. I know it's not fair, but it's a struggle to let go of the life I thought I wanted. We've also had some disagreements about money. With Olivia working part-time and me working less, our income has decreased. Olivia seems fine with this, even suggesting we downsize our apartment, but I'm finding it hard to accept. The idea of scaling back our lifestyle feels like failure to me. On a positive note, our communication has improved dramatically. The counseling sessions have given us tools to express our feelings without attacking each other. We're learning to listen more and judge less. Olivia's friendship with Jake has evolved too. She's still in contact with him, but she's been completely transparent about it. She even suggested we all have dinner together with Jake and his wife when they're in town next month. I'm nervous about it, but I appreciate her openness. I've been doing a lot of self-reflection, trying to understand why I've always equated success with money and status. I've started reconnecting with old friends I'd lost touch with, people who knew me before I became so focused on my career. It's been enlightening to hear their perspectives on how I've changed over the years. Overall, I'd say we're in a better place, but we're definitely still working things out. There are days when I miss my old life and wonder if I'm making a mistake. But then I see Olivia laugh or watch her interact with the kids at the hospital, and I'm reminded of why I fell in love with her in the first place. We're taking it one day at a time, learning and growing together. It's not always easy, but it feels real and meaningful in a way my life hasn't for a long time. Update 3. It's been 6 months since my last update, and I wanted to share the latest developments in our journey. The dinner with Jake and his wife, Emma, turned out to be a turning point for us. I was anxious about it, but it ended up being a pleasant evening. Jake is nothing like I had imagined. He's a down-to-earth guy who clearly cares for Olivia as a friend. Seeing them interact, I realized my jealousy had been completely unfounded. What really struck me was how Jake and Emma's life resembled what Olivia had often talked about wanting: a modest home, meaningful careers. Jake's a high school teacher and Emma's a social worker, and a strong connection to their community. Watching Olivia light up as they discussed local initiatives and shared stories about their work made me see her in a new light. This experience led to more deep conversations between Olivia and me. We started talking about what we really want out of life, beyond the material success I'd always chased. It wasn't easy, there were tears and arguments, but it felt like we were finally getting to the heart of our issues. A month ago, we made a big decision. We're moving out of our luxury apartment in the city to a smaller house in a quiet neighborhood. Olivia is thrilled about having a garden and being closer to the hospital where she now works full-time. I'm still adjusting to the idea, but I'm trying to approach it with an open mind. I've taken a step back at work, turning down a promotion that would have meant more money but also more time away from home. Instead, I'm exploring ways to use my skills to help nonprofit organizations with their financial planning. It's a big change, and honestly, it's scary. But it also feels right. Our relationship has its ups and downs, but we're facing challenges together now instead of growing apart. We still see our counselor regularly, which helps us navigate this new territory. I won't pretend it's all been easy. There are days when I miss the adrenaline rush of big deals and lavish client dinners. But then I come home to Olivia, and we cook dinner together or take a walk in our new neighborhood, and I realize that this simpler life has its own kind of richness. I'm learning to measure success differently, by the strength of our relationship, the impact we have on our community, and the contentment we feel at the end of each day. It's a work in progress, but for the first time in a long time, I feel like we're on the right path. Thank you all for your advice and support throughout this journey. It's been a challenging but rewarding experience, and I'm grateful